Hey guys, in this video I want to cover a subject that is super important. So people look at me and they would ask me the first question, how much do you bench? They look at my chest and they assume that I'm benching 400 pounds every single session, 500 pounds, and they assume that my strength is just insane. I would love to say yes, I do bench those numbers, but the reality is I didn't build my chest lifting heavy PRs on my bench. I didn't build my legs doing heavy squats. I didn't build my back doing heavy deadlifts. That's the reality of things. Alright, what has worked the best for me, and I repeat, it will work best for most of people, is not focusing on the weight. Alright, your muscle don't know the weight you're using, but rather your muscle contracts under tension. We're bodybuilding, we're not powerlifting. You guys have to separate those two. Alright, what is your goal? If your goal is strength, then by all means go and do the PRs and the heavy lifts and the big 3 lifts and bigger rest in between sets, focusing on lower sets. But if your goal is building muscle mass, the weight is just a tool that will help you reach a desired outcome. And that outcome is getting that muscle to failure. Alright, the muscle contracts under tension and that's it. Your muscle only knows tension. It doesn't know the weight you're using. Alright, so the smartest way of going about it is making the lightweight hard. Why do you want to make the hard weight light and bouncing it and just focusing on lifting heavy to just kind of impress yourself and flatter your ego? But in reality, you're not doing much work to that muscle you're trying to work. And then you leave the gym and months and years and you're like, well, my body's not changing because you're training the wrong way. Alright, if you want to grow muscle mass, forget the heavy weights, use a moderate weight, a weight that will enable you to get to failure within 12 rep range. But more importantly, well, 12, 15, 8, it's debatable of what you're doing, even sometimes 24 legs, it works best for me, but doesn't matter. That what's important and I want to emphasize on is the time under tension and the mind-muscle connection. Those two things, you need them. Time under tension, mind-muscle connection. You gotta connect with your muscle. You're on the bench, but all you're thinking about is moving and bouncing that 400 pounds for one rep just to impress everybody. But rather think about slowing down the motion, focusing on your chest, getting inside that chest and kind of isolating it. As crazy as it sounds, you're doing a bench, but you want to isolate your chest and get every other muscle, your triceps, your shoulders, adds little work, and really focusing on squeezing that chest and getting in your mind. Alright, getting in your muscle, I mean, slowing down the motion. And trust me, I can have 25 on the side, but get a crazy pump and get a crazy set by squeezing, stretching, slowing down, playing with the tempo. Sometimes I have 45 on each side and sometimes I'll be screaming and people look at me are like, hey, you could do it easily. Yes, I could take the 135 pounds and give you 20, 25, 30 reps easy, just bouncing it off my chest. But I'll be mostly using my momentum and not engaging my muscle fibers as I want them, as opposed to taking that weight, slowing it down and pausing and boom, and feeling my chest working. And that's what works best. You're a bodybuilder, stop focusing on the weight you're using. The weight doesn't mean shit. And you know what I do? When people ask me how much I bench, I do it on purpose to kind of give them a super low number just so it shows them, well, I'm benching this low and my chest is better than yours. What does that mean? Alright, people have to get out of this ego. It's too much into the ego of lifting heavy and we want to feel good about ourselves and we want to flatter, we want to impress everyone. You know, I'm over this, and that's what helped me the most, is not caring about other people think at the gym. I could be lifting as much as an old woman at the gym, but I'm still getting my muscles to failure in a way. I mean, of course I'm lifting a bit heavier, but the reality is that weight is just a tool. Alright, so do you need to lift heavy to build muscle mass? Well, heavy is relative. So maybe what's heavy for me is light for you. Maybe what's light for you is maybe what's heavy for you is light for me. All right. So you need to also reach a certain rep range and a time under tension. So minimum 30 seconds. I like to use that rule of 30 seconds of time under tension. What does that mean? All right. Let's say we're going on a bench press and I grabbed the 225 and I'm doing 10 reps and I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 10, and then my friend who's training with me, he grabs the weight and he's 1, 2, 3, boom, 1, 2, 3, boom. Who has more time under tension if we both do 10 reps? Well, obviously it's him. So who's gonna get more results? Because he puts his muscle under more time under tension. And that's what I want you to think about, rather than really counting and focusing on the reps. The reps are important. But how many seconds are you spending each rep? Is each rep kind of bouncing it off your chest? All right, so train the right way, train smartly. You're gonna avoid injuries. All right, you're gonna avoid injuries. Drop your ego, time under tension, mind muscle connection. Get inside that muscle. All right, you want to build a chest. Well, it would be fun to look like your bench heavyweight and that you squat and you deadlift heavyweight, but never having to really do it, right? Because you just look so jacked that people think that you do, and they just kind of give you your own space. I mean, I get that a lot, and I'm like, okay, why not? I'll take it, all right? Why I'm telling you that? Because that's what will work best for you. Avoid injuries. You'll get results that way. Train that way. Change your way of training. You want a big chest? Change your way of training. Make the hard weight, make the easy and the lightweight hard. That's what I tell people. Make the lightweight hard, and you'll feel your muscles. Some people train a whole hour, and they don't even feel that burn that they should at each set that they should feel. They don't even feel a pump because they're training wrong. All you're doing is moving your shoulders when you're pressing. Doesn't make much sense, all right? So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. As always, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Thank you.